What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about how we passed a roughly $800 billion portion of a bill, and about $366 billion of that went to the millionaires here in the United States. Also want to give you a little bit of an update on the stimulus package, what we are seeing right now, and one senator's new demand. So a lot of stuff going on today, but let's get right into it. Now, did you know that in the CARES Act, this was passed back in March of 2020? Now, in that bill, this was the COVID aid package. Well, there was a provision. It was called the Paycheck Protection Program. And in that program, which was roughly $800 billion, about $510 billion of that was able to be traced. Now, roughly $366 billion went to the top 20% of earners in the United States. That means only $144 billion went to the bottom 80%. Do you see why this is an issue? Now, and I want to bring this up because what a lot of people are missing is we've spent trillions of dollars over the past 2 years. Our deficit has grown by $7 trillion over the past 2 years. It's not all because of the American people. It's not all because of inflation, right? Everyone's throwing these different things around saying it's the fault of inflation. It's this person's fault. It's Congress's fault. It's Trump's fault or Biden's fault. And right now, nobody is able to understand what's going on. Now, with this Paycheck Protection Program money, most of the funding didn't even go to employees. The majority of the money went to the rich people in the United States, being that wealthier individuals normally own businesses. This was a way that in 2020 it was seen as a quick fix. It was seen as a way to just get money out to the wealthier people in the United States, and it would be trickle down economics. They would send the money down to the workers, and it would just keep on flowing down, and everything would be just fine. Well, that wasn't the case. It just funneled money to the wealthiest individuals in this country. Now, and normally I'm bashing Democrats because they're the ones in power, but today, every single person, every single congressman and woman is at fault. Because when this passed, I don't remember exactly what it passed in the House. I believe it was a unanimous decision. But in the Senate, it passed 96-0. Okay, 96-0 when this bill passed. So it was everybody's fault. Now, however, this was one of the worst uses of money that we have seen over the course of this pandemic. By far the worst use of money. People were going to get PPP loans because they wanted to buy a new car. You've probably seen this all over the news over the past couple years. Business owner in Florida had a couple cars, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever, right? Somebody in California had something very similar. And that's the issue. It was just wasteful spending. But Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen believes that we could use more. That it wouldn't hurt us. We wouldn't see additional inflation if Congress passed more stimulus. She thinks that inflation is still transitory and that by the end of this year, we'll be down to 2 to 2.5%. Again, by the end of the year. I don't know. I don't know if that happens. Now, the fact that we're dealing with inflation now is what many economists say that, well, this was the trade-off for the government getting money out into the economy as quickly as they did. However, they also say that less would have been more in this case. Now, I want to bring something up to you because what we have seen over the past couple years is certain groups, you got progressives, you got moderates, right? You got Republicans, Democrats, whatever, right? The issue that we're seeing is every single one has a different agenda. Progressives want to get everything out to the American people, want to pass all these different bills. And I understand why, but at the same time, can't we just pass standalone bills, get the most important piece done first, then move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And if there's not bipartisan support, then we just skip over it and move to the next one. Or we negotiate and try to figure out a way to get bipartisan support. Now, the reason I bring this up is because lawmakers say that we have to get bipartisan support. This was what President Biden was running on, was that he needed to bring not just Congress back together to the negotiating table and make it more of a family, really, but bring the American people together, because everything was just so divided. You had Democrats and Republicans. You had the people that needed a vaccine and wanted a vaccine, and those that were anti-vaccine. Those that wore a mask and those that didn't. And so there was always been two sides. And it's just been a greater divide over the past 2 years. Now, will we see this get done? I don't know. Because there is still one person standing in the way. We got Republicans, we got Democrats, and then we got Senator Joe Manchin standing in the middle. Here's what we know. Senator Joe Manchin said today that he just wants to fix the tax code. He says, fix the tax code, fix the taxes. That's it. That's what he wants. He says that right now, this is what needs to be done. In the Build Back Better Act, the only thing that he really supports at this time, which is a change from earlier this week, when he was in support of climate, or actually end of last week, not this week, but that was the end of last week. This week, he says, let's just change the tax code. We just need to fix it. And right now, this is all that he believes needs to be discussed, because he wants to see the 2017 tax cuts get rolled back. He doesn't want those because they're costing us more money. Now, back in December, Senator Joe Manchin, he said this. He said, and I quote, "We have one chance at this, okay? You have a chance to fix the tax code that makes it fair and equitable. So if we all disagree with Republicans, reconciliation on tax cuts, don't you think we can sit down and fix a fair and equitable tax code?" That was what he said. His goal right now, above anything else, two things. It's just really two, I'll say three things. He wants to ensure that we do not add to our national deficit. He wants to fix inflation. We have to figure out a way to get out of this, see disinflation. The third thing, we have to come up with a solution for COVID. Three things. Those are the three things that he wants. Now, out of those three things, what is the one that's most likely to happen? Is it getting out of our deficit? That's going to be a little bit more difficult, because he's going to have to change the tax code. More people will have to pay taxes. And when our current president made a promise that anybody who makes less than $400,000 per year will not see a penny more in increased taxes, that hurts our chances of paying down this deficit. But at the same time, if we start charging more tax to somebody that makes $30,000, well, is our economy going to come roaring back like everybody says it is? No, it's not. It's actually going to hurt us. So that's out. Okay, second one. Well, are we going to be able to bring down inflation? Yeah, we can, but we have to increase interest rates. We have to increase rates. And by doing that, is this going to slow down our economy? Yes. Are we going to see people lose their jobs? Chances are, yes. Are people going to continue to buy homes? Yes, but we're already seeing it slowing down. So this one, we know is going to happen. It has nothing to do with Congress. This is on the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has shown that they are willing to increase rates to bring down inflation. The problem is it going to crash the economy? Don't know. And then the third thing, can we tackle the issue and find a solution to COVID? Really, according to health experts, it's just a matter of time. Because right now, I think the majority of people that have wanted to get a vaccine have got the vaccine. If you want to get a booster, you have got the booster. It's not really changing too many people's minds at this point. So, the most likely outcome right now is, will there be some form of additional relief for COVID? Maybe. There's a good chance. But the most likely outcome at this point is the Federal Reserve is going to tackle inflation. That's the most likely outcome. And then we will see what happens with our national deficit. We will see, what does Senator Joe Manchin want? What does he support? Does he support rolling back the 2017 tax cuts? Today he said yes. Last week he said, let's deal with the climate issues. So we'll see what happens. That is what we know at this time. As always, things are changing. And as always, I will be here every step of the way. So do yourself a favor, make sure you go ahead, hit that like button, that does me a favor. And then if you could and you want to, go ahead, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. That'll definitely help you out. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.